This is a 2¼ inch heavy hex bolt. Now it's called the Obama bolt.
From Cardinal Fastener, John Grabner and Brandon Delafosse, and President-elect Barack Obama.
We have been able to compete with them. Made in America by Americans. They're all in sales, you know.
I want to thank all the workers here at Cardinal Fastener for the tour that I just received. Their parts are used everywhere, and we just heard this. From coast to coast, you have bolts from Cardinal in the Statue of Liberty and in the Golden Gate Bridge. So in some ways, you can't think of a more iconic company than Cardinal Fastener. The story of this company, which began building wind turbine parts just 2 years ago and is now poised to make half its earnings that way, is that renewable energy isn't something pie in the sky. It's not part of a far-off future. It's happening all across America right now. It's providing alternatives to foreign oil right now. It can create millions of additional jobs and entire new industries if we act right now. In fact, John told me that Cardinal hired 2 workers this week. With all the bad news going out there, with all the word of jobs being lost and businesses shuttered, jobs were created right here this week. The need for us to act is now. It's never been more urgent. We've started this year in the midst of a crisis unlike any that we've seen in our lifetime. Last month, we lost more than 500,000 jobs, a total of nearly 2.6 million in 2008. Another 3.4 million people who want and need full-time work have had to settle for part-time jobs. With each passing day, families here in Ohio and across America are watching their bills pile up and their savings disappear. And economists from across the political spectrum tell us that if nothing is done and we continue on our current path, this recession could linger 4 years, and America could lose the competitive edge that has served as the foundation for our strength and our standing in the world. Now, it's not too late to change course, but only if we take dramatic action as soon as possible. The way I see it, the first job of my administration is to put people back to work and get our economy moving again. That's why I've moved quickly to work with my economic team and leaders of both parties on an American recovery and reinvestment plan that will immediately jumpstart job creation and long-term growth. And I'm pleased that Congress has seen the urgency as well and is moving quickly to consider such a plan. It's a plan that will create or save 3 to 4 million jobs in businesses large and small across a wide range of industries. And 90% of these jobs will be in the private sector. I want to be clear, we're not looking to create just any kind of jobs here. We're looking to create good jobs that pay well and can be shipped overseas. Jobs that don't just put people to work in the short term, but position our economy to be on the cutting edge in the long term. And that starts with new, clean sources of energy. We know that the possibilities are limitless. Here in Ohio and all across America, we've seen old factories become clean energy producers. We've seen entrepreneurs turning solar energy into electricity and corn and soybeans into biofuels. Our scientists and engineers are hard at work developing cars that use less gas, homes and appliances that require less energy, schools and offices that are greener and more efficient than ever before. But we also know that nowhere in America are we near realizing the full potential of this work. Take the example of wind power. And we've got representatives from the biggest wind power companies in America here, all who flew in, as John said, on a day's notice because they recognize the importance of this moment. If we don't act now, because of the economic downturn, half of the wind projects planned for 2009 could end up being abandoned. Credit markets have frozen up. It's very difficult because of the capital-intensive nature of these projects for them to move forward if they can't get loans, if they can't get access to credit. And think about that. Think about all the businesses that wouldn't come to be, all the jobs that wouldn't be created, all the clean energy that we wouldn't produce. And think about what's happening in countries like Spain, Germany, and Japan, where they're making real investments in renewable energy. They're surging ahead of us, poised to take the lead in this new industry. This isn't because they're smarter than us, or work harder than us, or are more innovative than we are. It's because their governments have harnessed their people's hard work and ingenuity with bold investments. Investments that are paying off in good, high-wage jobs. Jobs they won't lose to other countries. There's no reason we can't do the same thing right here in America. And that's why, as part of our Recovery and Reinvestment Plan, we are committing to double the production of renewable energy in the next 3 years and to modernize more than 75% of federal buildings and to improve the energy efficiency of 2 million American homes. That will put people to work. It will save us on our energy bills. It will free ourselves from dependence on foreign oil. In the process, we'll put nearly 500,000 people to work, building wind turbines and solar panels, constructing fuel-efficient cars and buildings, developing the new technologies that will lead to new jobs, more savings, and a cleaner, safer planet in the bargain. Here at Cardinal Fastener, that could mean going from operating at 50% capacity to 90% capacity and creating even more good, made-in-American jobs right here in Ohio. With our Recovery and Reinvestment Plan, we'll also create hundreds of thousands of jobs by improving health care, transitioning to a nationwide system of computerized medical records that won't just save money, but save lives by preventing deadly medical errors. And we'll create hundreds of thousands more jobs in educating, equipping tens of thousands of schools with 21st century classrooms, labs, and computers to help our kids compete with any workers anywhere in the world. We'll put nearly 400,000 people to work by repairing our infrastructure, our crumbling roads and bridges and schools. And we'll build the new infrastructure we need to succeed in this new century, investing in science and technology and laying down miles of new broadband lines so that businesses across our nation can compete with their counterparts around the world. Finally, we won't just create jobs, we'll also provide help to those who've lost theirs. And I was talking to Governor Strickland, obviously, about the enormous strains on the unemployment insurance system and on Medicaid and Medicare that are being placed during this time. So we're going to provide help to folks who've lost their jobs, to states and families who've been hardest hit by recession. That means bipartisan extensions of unemployment insurance and health care coverage, a $1,000 tax cut for 95% of working families, assistance to help states avoid harmful budget cuts in essential services like police and fire and education, health care, daycare. Now, given the magnitude of these challenges, none of this is going to come easy. Recovery is not going to happen overnight. It's likely that even with the reinvestment package that we're putting forward, even with the measures that we're taking, things could get worse before they get better. I want everybody to be realistic about this. But if anybody doubts that we can dig ourselves out of this hole, I invite them here to Ohio and look what you've done here at Cardinal Fastener. It hasn't been easy here either. What John started wasn't without risk. But here at this company and in this state and all across the country, the history of America has been to set our sights higher, to look at the future, not to look back. In an economy that's losing jobs, we're creating them. And they're the kinds of jobs that don't just support families and sustain communities, but also help transform our economy, spurring growth not just today, but for decades to come. That's what we've always done in moments like this. We've looked ahead to the next big idea, that next new breakthrough. we've experimented, and we've innovated, and when we failed, we've picked ourselves up and we've tried again. And I know that if we can summon that determination and that great American spirit once again, we will meet the challenges of our time and we will build a better future for our children. I ask all of you to join me in making that happen. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thanks.